Everyone, I call dibs on saying the Oblivion remaster does not have the same spirit as the original. Don't take that from me. This week, Bungie finally unveiled gameplay of their next big franchise, Marathon. And yeah, technically it's a reimagining of Marathon, but it's a big franchise this time. And the way they decided to present this grand premiere is kind of nuts. So Bungie themselves hosted this live studio show they set up with a panel full of baseball-capped game developers. And the in-studio audience was entirely people who work at Bungie, and they weren't trying to hide that. It wasn't a secret.
Shout out to Run Team, everyone that's out there right now.
So yeah, there was a lot of wooing, as you could imagine. But what I find so interesting about the whole event is that it represents Bungie controlling the message from top to bottom, how they want to present their game to people. And sometimes it, to me, was a little messy. Here's an early question. Why did Bungie want to make an extraction shooter?
I mean, extraction shooters are something that are a passion of all of ours. Like, we really like the idea of bringing this experience that we've all enjoyed, which is this kind of intense survival-based experience. And we really wanted to take that and sort of, I don't know, bring a lot more people into it. When you love something, you really kind of want to just, attract others to it. And so you can have a bigger party with it. And so, yeah, we've been doing a lot of work.
It's really stupid that this reminded me of something. It reminded me of 7 years ago, the announcement that Fortnite would be introducing a Battle Royale mode. You got to remember, Fortnite was started off as, originally it was planned as this just, zombie survival game. Anyway, here's a young, bright-eyed Donald Mustard explaining why they're trying this out.
At Epic, we're huge fans of the Battle Royale genre and games like PUBG and H1Z1, and we thought that Fortnite was the perfect world to build one.
So I think that name dropping was actually important there. And still to this day, I can't tell if it was out of respect for those two games or if he simply needed to list another game other than PUBG so that they're copying the genre and not PUBG in particular. But to the audience, it's clear what this is. It's like PUBG, but you build. I get it. And in contrast, in that initial question, Bungie's reasoning for wanting to make Marathon was to take what is good about extraction shooters, but popular. Though to be fair, they did make other big differences very clear. Like the aesthetic, obviously, which is distinct. It is nice. You got a roster of heroes to choose from. All right. And the most important difference maker of all. This is from the makers of Halo and Destiny. Self-awarded Best in Class.
Bungie brings its best-in-class first-person multiplayer action to the forefront.
Yeah, when Ben Starr says it like that, you almost accept it as objective truth. Must be best in class. Anyway, on that trailer in particular, I want to dig up an old delayed input bit, the Punwabia bit. What this was is, it's for some reason, a lot of games when they're introducing themselves to you for the first time, one of the very first things they want to tell you about themselves is the name of the world they take place in. As in, somebody walking out on stage before a trailer, just saying, "Welcome to the world of Punwabia." You can't possibly care what the world is called. Anyway, here is the first sentence of the gameplay overview trailer.
Marathon is a team-based extraction shooter set around the mysterious and cutthroat world of Tau Ceti 4.
They can't help themselves for some reason. Okay, we'll get to everything. We're going to answer all your questions. But first, welcome to Tau Ceti 4. And continuing this trend of misplaced priorities, Bungie somehow budgeted out this 8-minute reveal cinematic short that is written and directed by Academy and Emmy Award-winning director Alberto Mielgo. And while there are components of this short that do sort of dramatize what it's like to play a round of the game, it also clearly illustrates what is so depressing about its premise. Like, it's not a bad short, it's just like an inverted advertisement. The story being told, we're meant to connect with this character who keeps dying and dying and is about to go in deeper debt because she has to keep buying new bodies. And the AI boss gives her a test for her memory, shows her a photo of what her Audi looked like as a child. Anyway, we see her having a pretty good run. We're rooting for her, and she dies. more debt. And then the runner who killed the runner we liked gets the same childhood photo from the AI boss and accepts this as fact. And look how many runners there are. That's the marathon fantasy. You get to play as a bodiless mercenary who is constantly in debt to an actively dishonest corporation. And the gameplay overview promises glory and fortune as a motivator.
Scavenge the remains of a lost colony for glory and fortune.
And we all know that's not coming. There's going to be no point in your playthrough of this game where you achieve fame and fortune. And so I feel like Alberto Mielgo kind of duped Bungie. He said, you want a film? I'll make you a film. Here it is. I think the whole idea for your game is incredibly sad. It's like, welcome to Bummer World. And to be clear, Bummer World can work. Lethal Company takes place in corporate debt Bummer World, but the whole tone is goofy. You're just goofing off with your buds. Just talking about the tone they presented. The colors of Marathon are bright, but the tone is bleak. And just making a bleak game for a mass market is an enormous challenge. I guess it is doable, but I don't even think it's intentional. Because here's the thing, you don't have to, every game doesn't have to be a power fantasy, right? You don't have to provide that for your player. However, these developers cannot stop talking about fantasies.
We've been developing these gameplay fantasies, different but clear and distinct fantasies.
Lucas's our soldier kind of fantasy, our soldier kit.
The first thing we wanted to make sure was their visual fantasy reflected the gameplay fantasy with a similar fantasy.
We want to make sure it's approachable. We nail those fantasies.
And actually, through the entire interview, you do feel like you get some insight into which words are written all over their whiteboards. But while we're on tone, I want to talk about one more thing, which I do recognize is weird, but I want to talk about logo reveals. Because I feel like the 2023 initial reveal has a really nice logo reveal. It's this. It's high energy, sounds like justice, it's exciting. There's an excitement about it. And then here are the logo reveals from this week. I just want to play more. But the Bungie thing wasn't all trailers. Because they did invite 40 creators and press to their studio to play the Marathon Alpha.
I vote I go ahead and let you tell them about it in their own words.
It's game-changing. It is literally game-changing.
So I do think this was a pretty good idea. It is cool for the first time this game's gameplay is being seen, for you to see it in action, in an actual match, without, scripted chatter.
Wait, who just passed me?
For instance, you get to see the first time Dr. Lupo discovered there's fall damage.
For the gang, there is fall damage.
And I guess what's weird about that is that the creators, by nature of not being press, then become spokespersons for Marathon. And I'm looking at these young streamers with cool names, and I'm just hoping they got paid to be here. What? Yeah, they got Jeff Keighley in there, and it wasn't necessarily a blink and you'll miss it cameo, because they directly called out Keighley.
I'm going to throw Nick under the bus for a moment here. Apparently he was on the team with Brian and Jeff Keighley, and they were not having success. Y'all were destroying them, the creators. Yeah, it's probably your team that was destroying them. So I was brought in as a hired gun to help get Jeff through. And
thank you.
I did my job.
Take it from me, Jeff Keighley is no casual. He has gamer blood. So it can't be that he was bad at the game. Still, I feel like they accidentally told a story of an influential figure having a bad time, so they had to bring in one of their best players to assure that that person was having fun. Bungie set up Dr. Lupo with really good teammates, and then they all seemed aware of that.
I think they kind of built a ringer group, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty confident.
They built God squads, you could say. I feel like we might be the God squad.
Look, if you're planning an event like this, you must make sure Dr. Lupo wins. The game's got to look good. He needs his flawless run. Overall, I would say that it was a big-time, memorable event for several humdrum trailers. Like, I can't imagine how much work it took to turn their actual Bungie lobby into a live studio with seating, mind you. But if Marathon is to be a premium product, not full price, but premium, the simplest way to put it is that it's going to need more oomph. Needs to hit. But they got an ace up their sleeve. They haven't shown the season pass yet. So that's probably going to sizzle. We'll see some skins. And that's delayed input for this week. I'll be back next week. Until then, thanks for watching. Welcome to another regular installment of Switch 2 Launch Watch. This week, Nintendo held its second Nintendo Direct in 15 days. This one focused entirely on Mario Kart World. So typically a specialized showcase like this exists to drum up pre-sales or wish lists. So it's kind of bobo bonkers that Nintendo even decided to post this so soon after the Switch 2 Direct, but also before anyone in the US even knows when these products will be pre-orderable. And again, to be fair to Nintendo, I don't think even they know at this point what they're going to have to charge to make money on this product in the mysterious future of June 2025. Sony had to write another one of these blog posts this week. PS5 price to rise in Europe, Australia, and New Zealand, in which they cite the challenging economic environment, including inflation and fluctuating exchange rates. And that's the last of that. But anyway, about the Mario Kart Direct, I can't tell if maybe they pushed this out as a way to quell the uproar that the first $80 game of the 21st century might not be worth $80. Or maybe this was already just weeks ago, locked and loaded, ready to go. Maybe they thought at this point, 2 weeks after that Switch 2 reveal, there would be an absolute fever pitch of excitement for the Switch 2. Which, like, I don't know if there is one. My personal prediction is that the Switch 2 will launch at a hurtfully expensive price and will still sell out entirely. I think Mario Kart World is about to become a symbol of the upper class, like Supreme t-shirts and diamond cheek piercings. In that sense, it's almost rude they would go out of their way to flaunt this piece of software. We get it. There's a cow now. Good for you.